Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's by user PriorFeature3993. My 31 female husband, 31 male, wants to back out of vasectomy over hypothetical situation. I'm upset and not sure what to do. Just wanting to know if I'm being irrational in being upset and how you would proceed in this situation. Backstory. Me, 31 female, and husband, 31 male, have been married for nearly 10 years and just had our 4th child. We always said we would have 3, maybe 4 kids max, so we are definitely finished having them. My last 2 kids were C-sections, so my body has been through a lot. We decided once we finished having kids, he would get a vasectomy because, in his words, I will have done enough. Which I appreciate, as I feel like if I'm on hormonal contraception, I'm not really myself. Just overall, not more emotional and unhappy. When my husband went to book his vasectomy, he then said he was worried it is so final. Which I replied with, good, we don't want any more kids. Turns out, he is concerned about what would happen if I died young and he was to remarry and possibly wanting more kids with that person. I'm 2 weeks postpartum, so maybe I'm extra emotional at the moment, but I got extremely upset by hearing this. We don't want more kids. We agreed on this for at least the last 4 years. This would be what we'd do, and now I feel like he's prioritizing some unlikely hypothetical over our current marriage and what's best for it. It also hurts to hear his plans to replace me and just possibly make a new family in general. He said he thinks he will still do it because he loves me and he knows I want this, but I'm still hurt by all of this and now also worried he'll resent me over a hypothetical. I obviously still want him to get the vasectomy and it's what we had discussed would be best for us as a couple, but I also don't want to pressure him into a medical procedure. I don't know how to navigate this moving forward. I'm not sure if I'm overreacting, but I just feel sad. Well, Opie, let's tackle one thing at a time. What your husband said is an illogical hypothetical situation based on what's happening right now. Basically, he's scared to get snipped and he made up some stupid BS excuse as to why he should be worried about it. I understand why you feel hurt by it and there's no need explaining it because it's just stupid what he said. Now, if I were you, this is how I would move forward. If you're okay with it, I would tell him, well, if you don't want to get the vasectomy, then buy condoms. And intimacy is just going to have to involve a condom, and that's it. And if he starts saying, no, but it's not the same or whatever, well, then go get the vasectomy. In any case, it's reversible. And if he's also worried about, I don't know, his hormonal levels and maybe some personality changes, that's not gonna happen because vasectomies have nothing to do with testosterone. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's check out the community comments. Sonic268 says, if you die, he's gonna be pretty effing busy raising his current 4 kids alone. Or is he assuming they die with you in this hypothetical situation? His body, his choice at the end of the day, but also your body, your choice to abstain from sex in order to avoid a pregnancy. Jessamine Arugula says, why is he worried about a hypothetical family when your family of 6 is right there? They store semen on file afterwards, so if you want more kids, you can. Why is he so caught up that you will die and he has to procreate with his new hypothetical wife instead of worrying about the 4 he has here and now? Why is his ability to make more important than the family he has here and now? Girl with the dragon tattoo says, I think you need to be a bit more concerned that your partner and co-parent is telling you that in the event of your untimely death, his priority will be finding a new partner and creating a new family instead of caring deeply about the needs of your 4 existing children navigating the difficulties of life with one parent. Am I discounting that he is probably just a big baby and scared to get snipped after you experienced the 2 major abdominal surgeries? No, not at all. But at the root of this, it seems to be about him being deeply selfish, and there's nothing anyone can do about that unless he is willing to change it. SFB208 says, geez, he must earn a fair whack if he can consider having a fifth child with some hypothetical woman who is willing to take on a widower with 4 kids in tow. Honestly, other than pointing out how cruel and thoughtless that is, I'm not sure there's much you can do. I'd be asking him if he actually does want more kids, cause why does having a second partner come into it? He's either done or not. And Lynn 1915 says, no vasectomy, no sex, simple. Lots of men do this for their marriage and their wife. It's a simple procedure for the man, much more invasive for a woman. Yet, here we are with another man putting his ego first. This is a hill to die on. Think about it. He would rather you take all the responsibility for birth control when it affects your body negatively rather than man up. It speaks to his commitment to you and the family as a whole. I would insist on counseling for you both. Resentment and loss of trust goes both ways. His thinking that his hypothetical situation is more important than your marriage is an eye-opener to his view of women in general and you in particular. Only you can decide how to proceed, but you have every right to feel as you do. Trust once lost is almost impossible to find again. He is backing out of an agreement and trying to shift the decision to you. Seek some professional help to navigate this, if not together, then just for you. This is not easy. Good luck. Additional information from OP's comments. My husband has now gone ahead and booked the vasectomy. He was looking at next week. He says he'll still do it. He admitted the finality of it hit him hard, which is why he voiced the remarriage hypothetical, but he reassured me that he won't resent me and that he does see this is what's best for us. I'll also want confirmation testing afterwards, just to be sure it worked. For me, the boundaries around contraception are firm. I've had negative side effects from hormonal birth control and I won't go back on it. I also won't be getting a tubal ligation, especially so soon after a C-section 2 weeks ago. If he didn't follow through, the only option left would be condoms. Though part of why we wanted something permanent is that our 4th child was a surprise even with condoms. I'm also not using sex as a bargaining chip. I won't threaten him or withhold intimacy, but I also won't let myself be pushed into procedures that damage my health. If he ever tried to force me onto birth control, my line would be no sex at all rather than compromise myself. I've even said I'd be fine with him freezing sperm if that made him feel more comfortable. For context, I'm a stay-at-home mom and he has a well-paying job. We aren't struggling financially. He does have life insurance, but I don't, since if I passed away, the bigger challenge for him would be childcare and the household role I fill, not income. He's a good, hands-on dad. He spends time with the kids, helps with homework and bedtime routines. Our marriage is solid, aside from this curveball, and he can be a bit of a worrier in general. At this point, my takeaway is simple. If he's still willing to go through with it, I'll let him, even if he frames it as a sacrifice. What I won't do is take on more procedures myself to make up for his last-minute second thoughts. Alright, well, the community raised some valid points and OP addressed them in the additional context, and there's a clear plan. So let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. We spoke about it again and my husband clarified that it just got real when booking it. Was worried and just freaked out a bit. He said he doesn't want to put a hypothetical situation before what's best for us, and me especially, not going through pregnancy and birth again as well. He said that by going through with it, he is also okay to not have any more kids, even if the worst case occurred. So he booked it in and got the procedure done this morning. I went with him, so I know it was legit. We'll still do the follow-up in a few months to confirm it worked, but for now that part is settled. He's content with it, and while the initial comments hurt my feelings, it did lead us to have a good conversation, and he emphasized how he does love me and didn't want to put anything else in front of that. So we are good now. He'll just need to do a follow-up on a few months to make sure it's stuck. Some additional information on my husband. A lot of people said they thought he was saying that because he might want a divorce or worse, etc. But I honestly don't think that's why. He is just a worrier and has been since a child. For example, his parents used to travel a lot for work when he was young without him, and he started being terrified that they would die in a plane crash or while they were away. It actually got so bad that they ended up changing jobs and careers so they wouldn't have to travel anymore. So this isn't the first time he has been worried about someone close to him dying and then also worrying about all scenarios that might follow. So when the reality of booking something permanent like a vasectomy hit, his brain just went into worst case scenario mode. Me dying young, Henry marrying, and whether he'd regret closing that door. I'm also only 3 weeks postpartum from a C-section, so emotions are still raw. I'm not even cleared for sex yet and won't be until he's cleared anyway. So nothing is at risk in the meantime, but I think the combination of me still recovering, the permanence of the procedure, and his tendency to catastrophes made this a bigger emotional hurdle than either of us expected. What matters is that once we actually sat down and talked, he clarified that he doesn't want to put a hypothetical over our reality. He said directly that this was about nerves, not doubts about us. So that's where we're at. He's had the procedure, he's at peace with it, and I feel reassured. I just wanted to make it clear that this wasn't him planning an escape route. It was him being the same anxious person he's always been, and we worked through it together. Thank you everyone for your advice, and especially those who were kind and supportive. Nice, OP. This is a great update. Communication once again for the win. It's as simple as that. And here's wishing the best for the both of you and a speedy recovery. Take care, OP, and thanks for sharing. Now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user OKTruth9183. Am I the a-hole for being the reason kids can't play on communal space? So I recently moved into an apartment complex and have been loving it so far. For a little needed explanation, my building is just south of a grilling area, open grass area. This is the communal area I am talking about. From the north, it's bordered by more units. From the west, it has a busy street, and the east has our parking lot. Now, when we first moved in, I would constantly see kids playing. My balcony overlooks the communal grilling grass area, and my first thoughts were, finally kids doing kid stuff. And if it stayed that way, I wouldn't be posting here. The problem started with the kids hiding between the cars while playing, leading them to scratch not only my car, but the neighbors from my building too. Not just once, but multiple times. I reached out to the leasing office for help as to what can be done. I explained the entire situation with pictures of scratches, not only on my car, but my neighbors sent me their car scratches as well. Come to find out, kids under the age of 17 can't be outside by themselves according to the lease rules and policies. They gave me 3 options. 1, I can go up to the kids and tell them to go back to their house and apartment. I didn't feel comfortable with this option as kids these days really don't listen to anyone. 2, I can tell the leasing office every time I see them to report the lease violation. And 3, I can call the police, show them the lease violation, and have them escort the kids back to their homes. Obviously 3 is a huge escalation that I didn't want to do, so I chose option 2 and included pictures from my balcony of the kids by themselves still playing in between the cars. The office followed up with me saying that the unit those kids are from are on their last chance before the violations become reason enough for eviction. Apparently, they have had lease violations reported on them before. I was explaining this to my friend as she was seeing me take the pictures from my balcony, and she called me an insensitive a-hole. She said that because I'm not a parent, I can't imagine how tiring it must be for a parent to watch their kids outside after work when the parents deserve to relax. She started saying I need to be part of their village. I kept trying to tell her that there are other places for these kids to play. Our complex has 3 fenced playgrounds, especially for kids. Still require parental supervision that they could play in, so I didn't think I'm in the wrong, but now I'm second guessing myself. So am I being a Karen or the a-hole? In my opinion, no, OP, not at all. Look, I've got kids, and I know raising kids is not easy, and yeah, you have to watch them after work. That's just life, and it isn't forever. I don't know what those parents' situation is, but But it's not right that other people get scratches on their cars because they can't keep up with their kids. And your friend pushing you to be a part of their village? No, you choose which village you want to be a part of. Maybe your friend has some extra hours she can go and watch the kids so the parents don't have to. Or maybe she's gonna pay for the car scratches. The fact is, if you want to excuse something, you'll always find a way to do it. Proven by your friend's weak-ass argument. Anyways, OP, not the a-hole. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's check out the community comments. Lake Glen 4287 says, not the a-hole. The parents of these young people have had plenty of warning. They apparently have been told not to do plenty of things or face eviction, and they can't or just don't care. Or the kids don't care. I'm putting parents and kids in quotation marks because in this instance, it doesn't seem that either term really quite applies. Sponge Sugar XX says, not the a-hole. If the leaseholder or holders are in danger of being evicted, it might be other people reporting the same issue. The leasing office won't share the details, but the property rules will be superseded by the state law that defines an unaccompanied minor. If the kids are very young looking, they might have to be supervised by an adult while they're out there to comply with state law, and that is a sign that the social services department should be involved. Your friend sounds like a dog mom because human moms have no time to relax every single day. Every mom I know is just tired. That's their personality now. And I don't think human moms are allowed to create human children. I don't know. And OP responds, the kids looked like 8 to 10 years old. Granted, I didn't see them up close and all from the distance of my balcony and building. And Zealous Ideal House 19 says, not the a-hole. If those parents have other lease violations going on, then they are not going to win any Parent of the Year award. Don't feel bad, they are on their last legs and are going to soon be evicted anyways. Besides, if you didn't complain, your neighbors who are also getting the scratches are going to. The community agrees that OP would not be the a-hole. So let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. At the suggestion of my leasing office, I put an outside camera on my balcony, specifically looking at the cars in the parking lot. While my partner and I were out, left my car and took his, I got a motion notification and was able to catch the kids in the act of not only scratching my car, but the 2 other neighbors as well. When I got home, I showed my neighbors the video and we agreed together that with the video evidence and previous discussion with the leasing office that we would be pressing charges for property damage. We filed a police report with the non-emergency number. After we had the police report, we took it to the leasing office with the video and per the agent there, they will be looking into evicting the tenant. I ended up sending them the video of the kids and they will be using that as further evidence along with the previously reported lease violations. As for my friend from the previous post, she is now going on a crusade to warn our mutual friends how terrible and apathetic of a person I am. Honestly, thank you for your comments. I felt better knowing I wasn't the a-hole. Additional information from OP's comments. First of all, this wasn't kids on a playground. My apartment complex has 3 fenced-in playgrounds that the kids could use, but they choose not to. Instead, they were playing in a communal area between the parking lot and a busy street, completely unsupervised. That's where the property damage happened. Second, the lease is very clear. Children under a certain age must be supervised in communal areas. The parents had already been warned multiple times and even had lease violations on file for this same issue. On top of that, here in Illinois, having kids 10 and under alone outside like that is considered child endangerment under state law. I also want to point out that I wasn't out to ruin anyone's life. The leasing office had even encouraged me to call the police every time I saw the kids left alone, but I didn't. I only escalated when I caught them on camera, after repeated warnings causing damage again. That was the final straw for me and my neighbors, and that's why we moved forward with the police report and gave the evidence to the leasing office. Lastly, some people asked about my old friend. Honestly, thank God we aren't friends anymore. As I mentioned, she's been trying to paint me as heartless, but I know the situation wasn't safe and the parents ignored every chance they had to fix it. I'm not going to feel guilty for protecting my property and siding with basic safety rules everyone agreed to when they signed the lease. And that is the main takeaway, OP. Absolutely right in doing what you guys did. As for your friend, whatever. Anyways, OP, here's wishing you the best in the future. Thanks for sharing and take care. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user Where's My Chin? Do all the work yourself or get 0%. In high school, I was in a science class that I did very well in. I was top of the class and scored nearly 100 on every test and assignment. The teacher assigned a big group project that would take about a week to complete with a team of 4 students. Groups were randomly assigned, and unfortunately, I was paired up with 3 kids who were barely passing the class. In class, we were given time to make plans together as a group to divide up work, examine the instructions, schedule times outside of school to meet up, etc. It was at this point my teammates decided to tell me that they weren't going to do any work on the project. I asked why, and they said they knew I really cared about my grade, so they figured I would do it on my own. They were so lazy they were banking on the fact I wouldn't tank my own grade, so they could benefit off of my work when I inevitably got a good score on the project. I was pissed and said that was unfair. They dug in and said, "Too bad, now you either do this project yourself or you'll get a 0%. Cue malicious compliance." Now, I could have gone to the teacher and he probably would have sorted this out, but a better idea struck me. So I said, "Fine, you win. I'll do what you say." They smiled smugly and thought that was that. But you see, this teacher had a policy that at the end of the semester, your lowest grade, excluding finals, would be taken off your record. So, if you forgot to turn in an assignment or did really bad on one test, you got a mulligan, so it wouldn't ruin your final grade. I had never done poorly on an assignment all year, so I never needed my mulligan. However, I knew that these crapheads all did. If they got a big fat 0 on a crucial assignment, they would probably fail the class. So I did exactly as they instructed. I did no work on the project all week, just sat on it and bided my time. At the beginning of the next week, all the students turned in their assignments. My teacher watched as I sat in my chair unmoving. Finally, one said, "Hey OP, aren't you going to turn in the project?" "Oh, I didn't do the project." They were shocked and asked why the hell I didn't do it. I said, "You said do all the work or get a 0%. I chose 0%. They were all royally pissed. They all had to do credit recovery over the summer. They hated my guts, but I couldn't have cared less. It was the most satisfying failing grade in my entire life. Nicely done, OP. 2 lessons at the same time. 1, just do your homework, man. And 2, don't try to leverage somebody that has nothing to lose. Thanks for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.